Well, my experience of the Jehovah's Witnesses, which is actually now fairly extensive, is they are mild-mannered. They are ardent enthusiasts for their particular view, but so are many people in my experience. The idea that it is extremism to think your own religion is true and another one is false as being terrorism is, to be frank, absurd and would not be accepted in virtually any country that I can imagine. I completely agree with the view that it is the Russian government who are behaving extremely in this situation, and that there's nothing in the evidence that I've read in support of the charges brought against the Jehovah's Witnesses which justify labeling it as extremist. Labeling Jehovah's Witnesses as extremists can do nothing to enhance Russia's reputation as a civilized nation. Any decision which is adverse to the Jehovah's Witnesses will affect others in the sense that it will be a warning sign that if you fall out of line with whatever the Russian authorities' view is, you will be in jeopardy. It's a clear signal to do what you're told and to avoid expressing views or having beliefs which the Russian state disagrees with. The message which this legislation gives about religious freedom of Russia is an entirely negative one. You can believe whatever you want so long as you believe what I tell you. It's, in my view, a shocking example of a bad law being used for a worse purpose. Clearly, the Jehovah's Witnesses could bring a case before the Strasbourg court. That is, of course, time-consuming and slow, but the draconian and extreme nature of the sanctions being taken against the Jehovah's research, and also their permanent consequences in terms of the confiscation of property, ought to prompt the Strasbourg court into trying to maintain the status quo before a hearing. Clearly, it will be a very testing time, and they will be subject to a higher degree of persecution than they've had to suffer already. I would say, from my experience of meeting and working with Jehovah's Witnesses, is that I find it surprising in the extreme to regard them as extremists or as a social danger. Some may find them irritating, but of course, being irritated with people is no reason for shutting them down or removing their rights.